Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be unboxing the third big box expansion for Folklore, The Affliction. It's called Fall of the Spire. And I also have again the Folklore Shadow Pack, and it also has come with this entirely huge creature crate that we're going to look at as well. Now, for those of you that don't know anything about Folklore, this is its third big box expansion. The original game was Folklore the Affliction, then they had Dark Tales, and now they're into Fall of the Spire. I have actually done a couple videos on my channel on Folklore. So if you're interested in the game, please go check those out. I'll try to put a link to it in the description below. I did actually the base box expansion, the first act, and I also did the first act of the second box, Dark Tales. So you can take a look at those if you're interested. Now, Folklore is a game by Greenbrier Games. They do a fantastic job of creating kind of an RPG in a box and allows this huge narrative that goes on not only in the quest that you're playing with, but also as you explore the map and the towns around you. Now, this game is used for 1 to 5 players. It takes about 60 to 90 minutes, and that's per act, but that can go up and down depending on how you interact with the world around you. And it's for ages 14 plus. Now, during this Kickstarter, they offered not only a miniatures version, but also a standee version of the game. I, of course, decided to go with the miniatures version because I'm a big miniatures guy and I love seeing them out on the board. So we're going to be seeing the miniatures version of Folklore the Affliction, Fall of the Spire. This is my Kickstarter copy that I pledged for, and I'm really excited to get into this because Folklore is one of my favorite games that I have. So if you're excited to see what's inside Folklore the Affliction, Fall of the Spire expansion, and also our huge giant creature crate, then I need you to meet me at the table. Now, I've taken the shrink wrap off the box. You don't need to see me taking shrink wrap off the box. We're going to go ahead and open up Fall of the Spire, Folklore the Affliction, and let's see what's inside. Of course, we have our rule book. Actually, it's the story journal book, The Fall of the Spire. So this is our huge, thick journal book. This is going to be the story of Fall of the Spire. And inside here, it does start with some new rules. And I know the biggest change to Folklore coming into this edition is our encounter initiative and the way that combat is laid out and played. I'm excited to dig into these rules and see that in action. And of course, there will be a playthrough of this coming to my channel because I'm a huge fan of Folklore. So we also have some new card decks and initiative cards. This is kind of more of the way that they have designed the tactics and combat. It's going to be a little bit different than the original Folklore. Now, of course, we're going to be getting into the actual game, and I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but I will show you a little bit about how this works. So you're going to start at story 1, and it's going to tell you exactly kind of the rules and how you're supposed to set it up. And as you read through your story, you're going to be coming to different checks, and depending on what happens, you're going to have different parts of the story unfold around you. And then you're going to be getting into different encounters, and they're going to show you how the map should be set up and what you're supposed to do inside that map to be able to succeed. And if you do, something happens, and if you don't, something else happens. So I'm really excited to go into the world of Folklore yet again, and this time into the Fall of the Spire. So that's our journal book. We're going to set this aside. The next thing we have is a set of tokens. These are tokens, I'm not sure what they do. These are clue tokens. These are part of what you put on the map, but some of these other ones I don't know. These might be for the combat coming up, and some more over here. These are bandages. I know what those do. Now, the cool thing about Folklore that I really wish every game would do is not only do they have their tokens, they tell you what they do on the other side. Oh, that's so good. So you get bandages, you take them. What do these bandages do? You don't have to look it up. You just flip the token. Restore 4 Vita, which is health in this game. I really like the way that they do their tokens. And as you can see from the back of this token board, they all tell you what they do. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you, Greenbrier Games, for creating awesome tokens. They're so awesome. Now, here's the standee part of this game. So the miniatures must actually be in my creature box. So we're excited to get to those eventually too. But these are what these standees are going to look like. And they're going to obviously come with stands, I'm sure. And these are all the characters, some of the creatures you're going to fight, some of the afflictions, they're the purple ones. They're kind of the bigger boss monsters. And these are some of the not so bigger boss monsters. And these are our characters down here. And there's a lot of different characters to choose from in this game. And it looks like they're doubles, more guys on this side. And of course, they're double-sided as you'll be able to put them out on the board. we're going to continue with more tokens. Again, I'm not sure what every token does, but here are some more fun tokens. Here's the initiative board, the biggest change in Folklore coming up. I'm excited to give this a shot and see how it all transpires. And the cool thing about this is this can be backward compatible into the original Folklore and Dark Tales if you wish to do it. That's at least what I'm understanding. Here again are more tokens. These are going to be status ailments or bonuses depending on what happens. And again, they are double-sided and they have exactly what these tokens do on the other side. So you're mobilized, you have -10 might, stride of 0, and trickery is how you're going to be able to, I believe, save against that. So these tokens are really cool. Again, thank you so much for awesome tokens. These are all the different map tiles. We're going to open these up and take a look. There are a ton of map tiles here. These are all different types of environments, including, of course, the desert. And we've got, oh, it looks like some lava or sandstorm coming up. We've got the sewers. We've got the boat. This is going to be awesome. It's a 2-mapper thing. There's another map over here. And on the flip side, these are all double-sided. So I guess you can go on the boat. You maybe even can go to the moon. Look at that. You can go to the moon. I don't know if that's the moon. I highly doubt that's the moon. But who knows? Maybe you go to the moon in this. We don't know. So there are a lot of different tiles. There are a lot of different settings. And there's a lot of different places you're going to fight inside Folklore. So there's some of the map tiles. We're going to move on. Of course, we have our standees. These are going to hold for all our standees. We're going to put those aside. And then this is going to be the cards and characters inside the game. Let's go ahead and pull these out and take a look at what we can see inside this box. We've got all our characters, and these are going to be all our enemies and all our afflictions. Here's some of our new characters. We can be a Druidess. We also have the Gentleman, the Huntress, a whole bunch of different guys. The Magus. This is going to be awesome. The Viper Maiden. So we're going to take a look at one of these characters. We'll look at the Viper Maiden here. I just want to show you how this works. So here's the Viper Maiden. Gives you a little story about what she is. Now, when you do choose your character, you also have to choose your path of your character, your focus. And these are the abilities that your character is going to get. And then on the inside of this is going to be the starting items and abilities that they gain at the beginning of their mission. And these are the different things they can do in a location that's different from what it normally would be. And then on the back side, it has a lore tree, which sadly mine got ripped, but that's okay. I hope they're not all ripped. Nope, they're not all ripped, just this one, and that's totally fine. In the lore tree, it does show kind of what you're going to gain as you're going through, but certain abilities you gain are going to be based on the focus that you have chosen. For example, when we get to, let's look at this one because it actually shows it, 100 lore points, which is kind of your experience points in this game, you're going to gain one of these 2 bonuses. Then if you go to 200, you can gain this, plus if you're the summoner, you're going to have to gain this one. You can't choose the difference anymore. You have to take that. So depending on your choice of your focus is also going to determine what skills you're going to get. But of course, there are some you're able to choose from as well. The next thing we have is a bunch of cards in here. Now, these are a lot of the cards I'm not going to show off too much of because these are some of our road and town events and probably some of our other story moment events. See if I can even get the bag open. Yes, we got our town events. We also are going to have story. These are going to be probably off-road events, and then we have road events. And then what's these? Off-road events. Okay, so there's 4 different types of things here. The town events, of course, are going to happen in town, and when you read these, you're going to have to choose something inside the what path you're going to do. I'm not sure what these are. And then we have road events. We also are going to have these off-road events. So as you're traveling on the map, which I don't have out in front of me, you're going to be drawing cards based on how you're moving around the board. I'm going to quickly look at one town event just to show you a little bit about how this works. So sorry if this is a spoiler. So in this town event, you're going to read and make choices based on your actions or even where you are in this town. If you look at the road events, you're going to see that it's going to have different things happening based on the time of day. So we have a road event for the daytime and the nighttime, and then you read through what it is, and then you have to make, for this one, we would have to make a check of awareness 8, and then based on that check, we're gonna have an outcome. Now I'm holding the outcomes away so you're not actually able to see them, so I don't spoil too much of the game. But that's kind of how these events work. As you're moving along, you're gonna draw a card and you're gonna see what this event does. It really opens up and expands the world around you, and it really feels like you're living inside the world of Folklore. Next, we have this small deck of cards here. Or I should say it's a large deck of cards. It's a plethora of cards, and no, they're not piñatas. We have our initiative cards. These are going to be used for that initiative track that we saw earlier. Let's take a look at one of them. Let's see here. It says, stabilize. 4 to 5 characters, 3 characters, and 2 characters. Depending on these, this is how it's going to work out. I'm really excited to see how this works. All right, then we also have companions. These are going to be able to help you in the game. They give you little bonuses. Let's see what we have next. It looks like we have our prayers. These are some of the spells that you're able to get. We're able to get prayers, abilities, and I believe there's also going to be rituals. That's it. So the rituals and prayers are kind of the spells in this game. Our abilities are, of course, the abilities that you're going to gain. And as you level up, you're going to be able to buy different abilities that are going to help your character and create the character you wish to be. Now, of course, some of them are going to be starting abilities. We also have items down here. And was this faux tactics? Oh, wow, this is going to be part of the initiative thing too. Items, these are going to be all the different items in the game. I'll take a look at one of them and see what it says. We have found, what's this? Fine leather boots, which gives you a boost in defense and initiative. Now, there's a lot of modifiers in this game that you have to take into account as you play through the game. That's going to make your character more powerful. So just got to remember all the different modifiers as you're playing. We have backpack equipment pack. Oh, these must be the equipment pack for the different characters. So this is for the protective character, I think. And then the enhancement. Maybe I don't know. I thought these might be the actual things that the characters start with. Lever sack, maybe not. So we're gonna have to look into see what those are. So those are all the different little cards you get. There's a whole ton of them. I'm excited to get these all sleeved and out on the table. Also, we have a shadow pack, which has the map token that you're gonna be able to walk around with. This is really cool. Before, all we have is this little piece of wood. Now we've got an actual figurine that you can walk around the map on. And this is, oh, this looks really cool. I really like that. That's really cool. All right, so this is going to be moving around on the map, so you know where you are while you're walking around. Also, on top of that, since this is one of the later stretch goals they hit, they've put the cards together in a thing. It's going to be just some more items, I believe, and some more events that happen, and maybe some more cards like rumors that could actually be kind of like side quests in this game. So that's it for the actual core box of Fall of the Spire, Folklore the Affliction. It's pretty cool. I'm excited to get to this to the table, and I'm excited to play this. Now, the next thing I want to do is look inside our Creatures Miniatures box. But before we do, there's a few more things I want to show off, and that's the character cards and some of the enemy cards so that you can see a little bit more about how this is all laid out. We have our Viper Maiden. Remember I showed you the pamphlet that showed her all the little powers and everything? Well, here is her actual stat line. It's found on these cards that you're able to keep next to your character. It also shows the miniature or the standee you're going to use while using this character. It has all the attributes, the extra skill bonuses they have for these certain skills. Over on this side, it shows you what you're going to start with and what ritual or knowledge you have. She happens to have rituals. She also has some special abilities that are going to benefit her and your team, and she has keywords. Now, these keywords are important because as you level your character up and pick new skills, they have to match the keywords that this character actually possesses. Now, the interesting thing about Folklore is it's a game where if your character dies, you're not out of the game. You actually turn into a ghost and are still able to help your party until they can get your spirit back into your body through certain events or locations found on the world map. And as a ghost, you're able to do, again, other abilities, but these are going to spend your ghost points. And of course, the more ghost points you spend, the closer you get to not even existing anymore. But again, that doesn't mean you're out. If they can get to a certain area of the map or maybe a certain event, they can even bring you from not only totally non-existing, they can bring you all the way back to life, which is pretty cool. So that's just one of the character cards. Now let's go ahead and look at one of the monster cards. I've got here our Cutthroat. Here's our Cutthroat. This is kind of one of the more basic monsters. I believe, I have not played, but I'm guessing he sounds like a pretty basic monster. And up here it shows you exactly how much health they have based on the party size. So it does scale. And also it shows here what extra they're going to get to rolls based on the level of difficulty of the scenario you choose. So not only do you get more people you fight as you have more players, you could have less players, but choose a more difficulty of those two characters that are in fighting your guys. I hope that makes sense. Next, it shows you all the different stats they have and what you're going to get when you actually defeat them. They have special powers, and this is the neat thing about how their AI works. You're going to roll a die as you're playing, and if they hit you, one of the dice is going to signify what type of attack this Cutthroat is going to do. Now, this is the card for the Cutthroat that you're going to face when you're on one of those battle maps I showed you. Now, also in this game, you're going to be skirmishing, which is a way to quickly go through combat, and that's found on the back of their card. And again, based on the number of players, you're going to fight a certain number of Cutthroats. Now, this is a quick skirmish, which means they're just going to have numbers down here, and you're just going to slowly dwindle them down to 0, and then you win and you gain your 5 coins. that is really how this game is played. So you're going to either be doing skirmishes or big battle maps. That way you can have a really fun adventure and be able to take on a lot of different guys, even though you're only fighting little skirmishes or the main battles on the battle map. So that is the enemies and our player cards. Let's go ahead now and for sure see what's in that creature miniatures box. This is something I've been pretty excited about. It's our Folklore the Affliction Creature Crate Miniatures Storage. I'm a huge fan of being able to store things in one spot. Right now, my Folklore game is kind of in a hodgepodge of places, and this is going to be fantastic because I can get it all in one spot. I'm going to turn the box because you're actually able to pull these out in little increments here. So right here is our core box, and one thing that Greenbrier Games does that's really cool is they show you where every miniature goes inside this little piece of paper. I'm just going to quickly pull one of these out, and here's the piece of paper. It's just a small piece of paper. Shows you where everything goes. You put all your miniatures in there, you take out what you need to fight with, and then if you're not sure where it goes, you keep the piece of paper with you right in there. So now this one's from our core box. I have the core box and I already have the miniatures for it, so that's why there's nothing in there. Also, we have one for the Dark Tales. Again, I have that already, so I don't have any miniatures there. But then down here, I'm sure, yes, here it is. Here is the box for our Fall of the Dark Spire. And here's some of the miniatures that are going to go with it. Now, of course, they all are green to show as enemies, and they're going to be gray, are going to be our heroes. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. We got like a Naga type character. Wow, look at that. It's got some really cool detail on there. I like that. Let's see what else we got. Oh, here's those rogues that we saw, or cutthroats, I'm sorry, I'm guessing. These are our cutthroats. The miniature quality is really good. I really appreciate it. Looks really nice. Here's our Viper that we were looking at earlier. Oh, look at the detail on that. I'm going to paint this. It's going to be awesome. Really excited for these miniatures. This will be really amazing. We got to look at this, a crocodile roar. He looks like we got. This guy's awesome. Oh, that's just amazing. And then these are some of our bigger monsters down here. We've got one. I don't even know what this is, but we're going to have to fight it, I'm sure. And of course, there's, I believe, our Genie, or Jin, whatever you want to say. I like that. Almost looks like it's coated in smoke and flames. That's really neat. They've done some really good job on these miniatures. I don't even know what that is. There's our Necromancer. It's got to be, look, he's got a skeleton or mummy crawling right out of the sand that he's creating. That is awesome. So we're going to go ahead and put these all back. We're going to put this back in to this little box here. And we're going to see what's on the bottom, because there's also some stretch goals that are part of this as well. So now we got that in there. We're going to put this back in our creatures box here. And we're going to pull out the stretch goals one and see what we find in there. Oh, here they are, more monsters and more fun stuff. We've got, it looks like, okay, these are going to be some of the stretch goals. Now over here is the ghosts, and it looks like the bigger monsters from the original Folklore game and the expansions, which is pretty cool. And I do have this oak guy. He's actually just hanging out in a small box somewhere. So I'm excited to actually be able to put him inside this box. That's pretty cool. Now, of course, here's the ghost miniatures. So if your character turns into a ghost, here you go. And look, I don't even got to paint it. It's ready to go. It looks awesome. Oh, these, I believe, are some of the afflictions that might not have been in the original set. This, I think, was part. These might, I think, were part of the Dark Tales that I don't think had a miniature form. Could be wrong, not sure. Or, of course, these could be part of the new Spire game, Fall of the Dark Spire. Oh, cool miniatures again. And these are some of the last stretch goals that were attained. It's like a Sasquatch type character, and I think it's a guy and his dog. I forget what they called this guy, but it's basically a guy and his dog. Here's the guy and here's the dog. Pretty cool. All right, we're going to put this back as well, and that is our expansion box that has all the miniatures in it, and I can hold all the miniatures from the other game as well, which is pretty exciting. So we're going to put this right back in here, and I just want to quickly show you, because this box is going to take the place of some of the other boxes I have. Just to quickly show you, right now, I have everything in this art bin. It's just in a hodgepodge of places. I have our player boards, and then, of course, I have our trackers up here that, of course, all this is from the original Kickstarter, or even the expansion that came, the Dark Tales expansion, or even the upgrade pack that they had. All that's from there. Of course, I have all my cards down here, and like I said, here's the oak guy. He's just hanging out in here, so it's going to be nice to have a place for him. And here's the ghost miniatures of the original group that I get to put in there as well. So I have these down here. And this is the character that I believe is the new one they have, the Empress Coven, or the Impusa Coven, sorry. I think that's that miniature we looked at earlier. So it's cool that they have miniatures now for these tokens that I have. That's going to be really cool because it's always nice to have miniatures on the board if that's what you decide to use. And of course, all our miniatures are hanging out inside this Affliction box. I've just had them all just hanging out, plus anything else I could fit in here. I've got our Dark Tales and everything, and they're all just kind of in here just hanging out. So now I'm going to have a nice place for everything to be stored, and I don't have to have it in all different places. So this is going to be really cool. So again, this is Folklore the Affliction by Greenbrier Games. It's a longer unboxing, but there's a lot of cool stuff that's going on, and I'm excited to bring this to the table. I'll be painting some of these figures out, and we're going to go ahead and play them. If you're interested, go ahead and tell me what people you'd like to see in the actual expansion being played. There were a lot of different ones. We have, of course, had that Viper Maiden, and there's a few other ones as well, like the Druidess. We also have the Gentleman, the Huntress, the Magus, the Warlord. Those are all the new characters. So I'd like to pick at least a couple of these and play that first mission, at least to show you how this game has evolved over time. So please let me know in the comments below which ones you might be interested in seeing. And that's it. Folklore the Affliction by Greenbrier Games. It's the Fall of the Spire expansion, which is pretty cool. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the playthrough for this comes out. Now, like I said before, I've done one for the base game and I did one for Dark Tales. So if you're interested in those, please check in the comments below. You can click the link there and it'll take you to those playlists. Also, please feel free to leave anything else in the comments below as well. I would love to hear from everyone. Are you excited for Folklore? Are you got some of it but not all of it? Do you wish you had everything? Are you excited you have everything for this game? Have you played through some of the game and what do you think about it so far? Are you excited for the new expansion? I am. I'm really excited to getting into this game. Thank you again for watching. And if you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet me at the table.